So how much money are you going to really make in a flip? And how much money does it really take to go from close to close, which means from purchase to either refinance or sale? So what are you going to really make on a fix and flip? And how much money do you really need? That's what we're going to dive in today and look at all the numbers, because after 25, 26 years of doing this, the number one thing I see is people not understanding their numbers. We just had a person pay off, actually sell a property a week ago. And they're like, wow, I was expecting to make a lot more than that. Ended up making $1,000. Why? Because they didn't run a test on their numbers. They actually believed what the wholesaler was selling them, telling them what it's going to cost to fix it up, what it's going to sell for in this kind of market. So today I'm just going to run through a test, run through some numbers, because you need to understand this. You need to understand exactly what goes into a fix and flip. Not to be scared, but just to be informed of what it's going to take and what you're going to make or could make on your next flip. Because there's a lot more to this. There's a lot more to just the purchase, just the rehab, and even closing costs. It's amazing how many people get their settlement statement when they're purchasing a property and don't understand what they have to bring in, what the loan is covering and what it's not, what is the extra money. We're going to go through a settlement statement here in a upcoming video, just so you understand all the numbers. And this is something, once again, to get comfortable with, to understand. It's not something to be afraid of, because this is what we do. But I think people just get a little nervous, concerned, maybe stop thinking about it, maybe put their head in the sand and go like, nothing I'm going to think about today, but at the end, we'll see how much we're going to make. But running your test numbers through a calculator like ours brings some light to these projects and what you need as far as money yourself, what the lender's going to bring to the table, and how much you're going to make. Let's dive in and see exactly what an example looks like. We're going to say we're going to have a property that when it's all fixed up, the after repair value, we've done our studies, done our numbers, to run our comps, and it's going to come in at about $400,000 what we're going to sell it for. But we're going to purchase this for $250,000. So we're going to put that number in our calculator because we want to see what the lender's going to give us and what we really need to pull this off. Time after time, it happens over and over. So many people dive in or get into a deal. They think the lender is going to give them all the money they need, or at least provide enough to get through it. And they get into month 2, month 3, and they find out that they're short because something came up on the project. They're going to have to put more money into the project, and or payments. Payments keep piling up. So this is a realistic look for you as either a new investor or someone who's just starting out and, was probably gone through your first deal and you go like, what happened to all the money? And why did I need so much? So we want to know going in. So when you sell it, you make some money, you enjoy investing, and you get on to the next project. And we're going to say the rehab budget on this is $50,000. So we put in $250,000 for the purchase price. We've put in $50,000 for rehab. Then we're going to estimate, because remember, when you purchase a property, especially if you're financing it, the lender's going to charge you some money. There's going to be some contract charges. Remember, maybe you've agreed to pay for the title costs. But in this case, we're going to have it at 3%. So 3% of the purchase price is going to go in here. So we have all of our numbers. Remember, we have purchase, we have rehab, and then when we buy it, when we close it, when we take ownership, there's going to be a cost there, the closing costs for the lender, for the title company, maybe an appraisal, anything like that. And then we're going to also put in some items that pop up almost on every project, because we may call them surprises, but it maybe just changes. You may get into a project and decide you want to move the bathroom around. You want to add a couple features. You want to add window coverings. You may find out that landscaping is important. So it's always good to have a surprise budget, meaning what could happen. And if you've done flips before, you understand this happens almost on every occasion, that surprises happen. It's just part of the life. And it's nothing to be, once again, none of this is there to scare you off. It's just to inform you so you understand what's happening. And then we're also going to do something called escrow pre-funds. And remember, in this instance, we have $50,000 that we've budgeted for the project for the repairs. But what happens if something comes up? Because it will happen, maybe 1 out of 2, 1 out of 3 projects. Surprises will come up, but also escrow pre-funds, which means you have to pre-order the doors, you have to pre-order the windows, maybe it's the cabinets, maybe you have to put some money down with your contractor just to make sure they're on site. And typically, your lender's not going to give you those funds until the windows are installed, until the floors are installed, until the contractor actually does some work. So you're going to have to pay for those up front and then get reimbursed later. So you're going to need some extra funds set aside just for when this happens. And we're going to say in this case, we need 15% of that $50,000, $7,500 off the top, just without doing anything but the purchase, the rehab, and some money for closing, surprises, and rehab. We're going to already find that we need $328,000 in either funding or available funding, and we're going to go over what the difference is between funding and available funds here in just a second. And remember, this calculator, it's free. There's a link below if you want to use something like this. So now let's go and find out where all these funds are going to come from. Most lenders, if you're doing a fix and flip out there, they're going to give you a percentage of the purchase. In this case, we're going to say the lender's giving us 90% of the purchase. 90% of $250,000 is $225,000. They'll fund 90%. We have to fund the other 10%, which is, in this case, $25,000. They're going to fund 100% of the rehab budget. Remember, you ask and get the information from your lenders to see what they're going to give you, because sometimes it's 80% of the purchase, sometimes it's 80% of the rehab, maybe it's 80-80, whatever it is. You just have to plug your numbers in here so you are not surprised when you're looking at doing your fix and flip. So in this case, the lender is going to fund 90% of the purchase, 100% of the rehab, and then we are going to then calculate how much we are going to need for some of the other costs, which are carry costs. Remember, every month after we close the loan, after we take out the loan, purchase the property, we're going to have to make interest-only payments to that lender. So in this case, let's say your interest rate here is, let's just move this to 10 1/4. We're going to say that from purchase till we actually sell the property, it's going to be 5 months. So what this is going to do is estimate the monthly payments, and it's going to carry for 5 months. Now, the lender, in this case, is not going to fund your carry costs. They're not going to fund your interest payments. They're not going to fund, your taxes and insurance every month. They will collect for them up front, but this is a short-term loan, and what they're going to do or say is, we're only going to cover the purchase of rehab. You have to take care of everything else, either when you buy it or when you sell it, for the taxes and insurance. They're not going to collect for those. So don't be surprised if your lender is not escrowing funds for tax and insurance on a fix and flip. Completely different than a rental property, which is a long-term loan. Fix and flip loans are typically 6 to 9 to 12 months. So they're short-term loans and escrow is not set up. So the lender has decided of that $330,000, they're only going to fund $275,000 of this example. What does that mean for you to make sure this is successful, that it runs on time? Very important to understand when you're doing fix and flips is speed. You want to get from purchase to either refinance or sell as soon as possible. So you want to make sure you have the proper funding to make this work, which is your down payment, the 10% that's required. You have to make sure that $25,000 you have available in either cash or lines of credit or in some source partner, real private money, whatever it is. Anything that they're not going to fund in the rehab budget, you're going to have. You're going to have to cover all closing costs from when you purchase the property. Totally different when you sell it, because they could just net everything off. But when you purchase it, you're going to need to understand exactly what the closing costs are. That's why you get the settlement statement. That's why we're going to go through it in a coming video so you understand what closing costs look like and where they all come from. Next, carry costs. Remember, we have an interest rate we're going to carry for 5 months. It's about $2,300, $2,350 in interest every month. So that's going to cost us almost $12,000, and that's real money coming out of our account that we have to pay the lender during this period. So you can see it's starting to accumulate. We have the purchase. We don't have any rehab right now. We have closing costs, so we have to pay right away. Every month, we're going to have to pay that interest payment. Not only that, we're going to need some reserves. We're going to need some money set aside, available funds, which means we have access to them, easy access to them for any surprises that come up. Remember, we had 5% here. The $2,500, that's going to be in the surprise budget that we have available. Doesn't mean we need to use it. Doesn't mean it's just going to be $2,500. This is the estimate going into it. And then also we need available funds of $7,500 for escrows or pre-funds. These are items, once again, that we're going to pre-purchase or prepay for them until the lender takes part of that $50,000 and reimburse us. So there's a lot of times when you're doing projects that you are going to have to come up with the money first, and then in a week, 2 weeks, the lender will get it back to you. And more than likely, you're going to have to keep doing that throughout the whole project to keep it running on time. Someone who is looking at a project, they're looking at lender giving them about $275,000 to cover what's needed in the project. They're going to need funds or available funds of almost $56,000. And this is what surprises a lot of people because they look at it, they're buying it for $250, they're putting 50 grand into it. That equals $300,000. The lender's going to give them $275,000. So they're like, all I really probably need is $25,000. But there's a lot of other items from real expenses to available funds you need for those surprises or those escrow pre-funds that you need to have in cash, that you need to have in either business lines of credit, business credit cards, HELOCs, making sure that those are properly set up before you get into it, because you don't want this to run an extra 3 or 4 months because you did not have the money to pre-fund the materials you need or to pay those people up front. You don't want to not pay someone so they skip 2 or 3 weeks because they went on to another project. You want to make sure everyone's getting paid on time, all the materials that are on time, so he gets it done on time so you don't have those extra payments accumulating, taking it out of profit. In this case, we have a project. We buy for $250, they're putting 50 grand into it, so it's $300,000. Lenders will look at it going, okay, we've done all the math, we've done an appraisal, it's gonna sell for $400,000. Remember, lenders, when they're looking at all their numbers, they're gonna base it on an ARV, the $400,000, and they're gonna max out at that 75%, which means they'll lend up to giving you value of $300,000. And where does that other $100,000 go? People get confused with that. Here's the big numbers and why lenders don't give you the other 25%. Just a brief little history on that, because in this case, it's $400,000. You're doing this to make a profit. So of that $400,000, you really want to make about 15%. So that 25% that they're not giving you, that extra $100,000, 15% is going to go to you when you sell it, when you refinance it. That's going to go into your profit budget. 5% is probably going to go to closing, real estate agents, everything else like that. The other 5% is just some of these costs we have on here, the monthly payment, the closing costs, all those things. So that's going to be money that's out of your pocket, but it's in your budget. I think it's so powerful to run these numbers, test your numbers, get comfortable with your numbers. You should be running numbers all the time until you're comfortable with them and you know exactly what to expect. Don't get into a property until you're properly funded. Make sure you have those funds, you have the money in your account, you have the HELOCs, you have the partners set up, whatever it is to fund everything you need. And even this number, I would suggest that you're at least 120% of that $55,000. So you have another $10,000 or $11,000 on top of that, just so you can be, comfortable if anything shows up. Because you never want to get down to the last penny, because you want enough available funds to cover not only what you need, but just to give you that cushion to make you feel comfortable too. So run tests. Run as many tests as you want. This calculator, other calculators, they're free. They're easy to use. Don't put your head in the sand. Don't pretend like these things don't pop up. Real estate investing is from speed, from close to close. And the only way you could do that is making sure money is flowing. Your contractors are getting paid. Your materials are there. Everything's getting paid on time, and you're spending your time managing this property and finding your next property, not chasing money around. So remember, run your numbers, run the test, the free calculator below, subscribe, like, and we'll catch you on the next video.